You are now rocking with the 3-yard play.
Right.
We just figured out a 3-yard play, fam. We're gonna win every time.
Yeah.
Hit that link with you. Come on in.
You're tuned into the 3-yard play podcast. Well, the only question is, does it work for you?
Trail got wings, bitch.
We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We live in weight just to hold up the trophy. Flag on the plate, cause them haters can't hold me. And 1, 2-a-days and run up the biggest hill just to sharpen up my skills. They hit the scoreboard first, I had to hit them drills. Time I get around the corner, they gon' see my new wheels. After practice, till the lights come on, till they bust ride out and they gone. That rally had us help, my teammate down the steps. Player, we got plays you ain't even seen yet. I post up and fade away like graffiti. Just don't claim it's love when you see us on TV. We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
3-yard play podcast.
We been working
brought to you by reality.
all year.
Where it is what it is.
Game time.
You get what you get.
We all here.
So comment and let us know where you
Oh
live.
yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
El Bravo debut album.
You start with the reference to
On all
God.
streaming platforms.
Grew up like a
Featuring hits
dog.
like
Never
Young
had a
Jit,
hardships. Used to not
Stowaway,
be proud.
My
Rockin'
Book of
on
Life,
starship.
and
Now
many
we
more.
out here
Follow El
going
Bravo
on.
at Lab
Ever
Tech
since I
Music Group.
stepped in the
It's
game,
time.
I done started.
Like a stowaway,
Debut album. Release me.
just like
In
a
stores now.
Your homeland's far away. Take my hand and let me lead, though. I feel like they wanna take me, but they weren't ready to me. Take a shot at the back of my hand and leave me for dead.
El Bravo. Release me. In stores now.
What's good? What's good, family? Hey, welcome back to another episode of the 3-yard podcast. Shout out T Mac, Trip.
What up? 3-yard play family.
So we have all witnessed a monumental feat in sports. We watched LeBron James take over as
King James.
King James.
King James.
And you got some people who are excited about it. You got some people who are, feel some type of way about it. But either way, it's just great to see, history made in our lifetime, right? So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about, what we think about the man. I know there's two different sides. Some people say, he's still not the greatest. You got Michael Jordan still, those people want to call him the greatest still, but, I don't know. We leaning over here to LeBron as a whole. What y'all think, man? Talk to me.
I mean, if I was a better podcaster, man, I would have just like all flowers right here to hand to him, or just the big flowers in the background. I would have some edit of me handing him the joints. But like, man, that's that dude, man. Can't really take away from him, man. I got to tip my hat, give him his props for reaching the scoring title. And I think overall, he's just been an excellent example to the youth. As an NBA fan, I'm a casual fan. I'm not a super hardcore fan, but I did come up watching the NBA, and I lived through the Jordan era. And after Jordan, man, the league was at a loss for some years, just as to who was going to be the next person to really wear the crown. And R.I.P. Kobe, shouts out to Kobe, because I know somebody's screaming, "No, what about Kobe?" I feel you, respect to Kobe, man. He's not Kobe, but when you looked at Kobe's game, you couldn't help but still think about Michael Jordan.
Right.
Now, when you watch LeBron, that's a whole different type of game even. The moves he's doing, the way he's coming down the court, his position and everything, it's a whole different beast that, he really changed the game when he came out there and then did it at such a high level that he's going on to win the scoring title. So got to give him his props for that. Also, he's been one hell of an example to the youth. He's been an incredible father. He's raising his sons up in the way. He's spoken up. I mean, even if you don't always agree with him politically, he is someone that's constantly actually using that platform. He's not just sitting back getting money from the community and not speaking up and not doing anything. So for all those things, man, you gotta put that man up there with Ali. Like he's really going hard for us, man.
So
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm first of all, let me forget all that crap because I ain't no hater on no level. Man, congratulations, King James, brother. You set out to do something and you accomplished it. Like a lot of people set a lot of goals, try to do a lot of things, and don't even come close to the level of success that you've achieved. So let me first start there. Let me make sure I'm clear on that. But y'all know, man, I get caught up on that fan stuff. So this ain't not my comments. Usually ain't about LeBron. This is about his fans and the unreasonable approach that they have to talking about that man. But because I'm straight biased to Magic Johnson and Dominique. You know what I mean? I grew up hating Jordan. But I had to get to a point where I understood his level of greatness. And so as LeBron approaches his thing, I had to kind of humble myself and recognize what he has brought to the game of basketball, to life, and to business. You know what I mean? But I'm also an OG, and I'm gonna say, hey, Jordan and Magic them set the foundation for that man to build on that thing. But what's the problem with that? Ain't no problem with that.
Yep.
Ain't no problem with that. Like I said, I hope somebody else comes behind him and shatters what he did. You know what I mean? That black excellence. I'm not gonna try to put everybody can be great. Like I said, we talk about the community. We got more than one king. You know what I mean? We're a community full of kings. So we got a bunch of goats that exist in this world. So there's no need to minimize one to elevate another's. But in this moment, I want that man to have his flowers for all that he did to even just change the game, change how we move, how our kids move. You know what I mean? It's an awesome accomplishment, man. It's an awesome accomplishment.
And I think what made the accomplishment even bigger than what people would like to make it out to be is that if you really look at his game or his history, he didn't actually set out to become the scoring champion. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it more unique. Like, because he, I think one of his teammates from high school was talking about like how it was two or three other guys on the team averaged 25 points or something like that with him. They said, LeBron could have averaged easily 50 points a game if he wanted to, you know what I mean? But he was such a team player and wanting everybody to participate or get involved that he didn't take over a game like we think of when we think of like a Kobe or a Mike. So that's what makes it even kind of unique to me is that his game was really trying to get other people involved. And in the process of getting other people involved, he still, with consistency, I mean, you talking about what is he? How old is he now? What, 38? 38? Yeah. So he's man, averaging what, 30-something points this year?
There y'all go. 27. Like that's bad. You see what I'm saying? That's
keep him to the facts, Mike. Keep him to the facts now.
Yeah, he about 27.
Hold on, y'all.
But I'm just talking jump. But that's close to 30 points a game at 38 years old. That's why I don't want to get no hate. I just love to talk trash.
I think we're having a problem. My man's at the master controls.
Oh, there you go. He about to go up and look up the stats now. Huh? There you go. About to go look up the stats.
It's some kind of problem.
Yeah, man, it's stupid ass. Okay, bro. I'm sorry.
Recording though.
I know we still recording. We still rolling.
Yeah, you might have to punch this out and then punch back in. My phone took over the goddamn.
It's cool. Hey man, look, man.
Hey, this the backstage. Things go wrong.
No, what was happening is I couldn't hear y'all.
Oh. Hey man, I'm gonna say this though before we get too far off to the left. One thing y'all brought up, man, that Thomas, you mentioned it in terms of LeBron's business acumen. Now I don't know. I never seen Jordan do it. I didn't see Magic do it. Maybe they did, and they didn't publicize it. But to me, LeBron's the only person who took basically all of his day ones or his friends, just who weren't, superstar athletes, and groomed them all to handle his business to make sure, hey, instead of getting robbed by all these folks I can't trust, won't I just teach my mans to do this and have my other mans do that, have my other mans do that? So that was something to me that was already impressive. And he did that, consistently through his career. The fact that he took his people, as in his homies that he was still going to be hanging with, and actually employed them in roles that would be beneficial and help bring in more money to him and what he had going on. I always thought that was kind of cool. Of like, instead of just having an entourage that you giving money to, shit, entourage help him bring the bag.
Right, but I will say this though, because I don't want to take a. First of all, yes, I acknowledge that that's cool and everything, but also just y'all know how I am. I make sure everybody get eat on this in this conversation. It's one thing to give your homeboys opportunity, but his homeboys had to go to school. His homeboys had to go learn some stuff. They had to prepare themselves for the opportunity, which he also set the standard on them. So I want to minimize, but I want to just say he just put them on. No, they had to go develop their level of trust from him, and they had to have the skill set to get him what he needed. And he put that on them and just said, hey, I got this for you, but this is what you have to do first. So I just want to give them some flowers too, because they help build the brand. So this is to your point, it's a collective effort. So just because, like, hey man, when we blow up on this podcast, I can't just say I was the star, because I was dropping 60 every night.
Right.
I dig it.
And see, that's the thing. Like the thing I think that LeBron exemplified more than any of his counterparts was that he really set the standard as to how you're supposed to handle success. You know what I mean? And how you can still influence the people you came up with. A lot of times society is trying to teach you, especially in our culture, you need to leave everybody you came from behind.
Oh boy, you better get far away from them folks, man.
Yeah.
Right.
And like for the difference between, like, say, AI had a lot of, Allen Iverson had a lot of partners that he brought with him, but even Michael Vick. But the difference was those were his partners who stayed in those arenas that he came from, and they weren't necessarily concerned about changing their mindset with a new way of life, just with more money. So for LeBron to come along and say, hey, I'm going to get you out of this situation, but I need you to do A, B, and C. Once you do this, I'm going to hire you. From there, I'm going to, so he had like a mapped out plan that I think most people don't even think about when they start thinking about the people that are close to them. And so he was able, now they're independent of him. Their success is independent of him. So that is just powerful, man. He went and built the school. The school, what? It also, what? Doesn't it give opportunity to the parents too?
Like, yeah, they do something for the parents too.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to educate your kid. I'm going to put the parent in a better position to help this kid be educated. Okay. So that is just unbelievable, man. And then as far as like him having a stellar career where it's really not too much controversy with him, he's like,
that's Obama. What I was just thinking. He managed to stay out of trouble, man. That's hard in itself.
Right, because people.
You know they were watching him, man.
From 18 to 38, when people put all those expectations on you, he didn't shrink in the moments. Just rose to the occasion, which is tough. Which is a testament in itself that's a great example for all people. To be honest, just all people.
Right. So do y'all give him the greatest?
No.
Greatest at what? Greatest hooper of all time?
Yeah.
Or greatest athlete of all time? You saying greatest hooper?
Greatest athlete. You can say greatest athlete. You can greatest hooper. Greatest period.
I say greatest athlete either. It's some great athletes out there.
I can't say greatest athletes because you just know how they do, man. There was still always some brother in the hood that for whatever reason, I just saw a dude on Reels the other day. They like, man, this man scored 55 on the best folks they had back in the day, but he wasn't going for the contract they tried to chump him off with. So it's hard to, to say somebody the greatest athlete of all time, but he might be one of the. I grew up on Jordan. I just watched more Jordan games than I watched anybody else. So I gotta always tip my hat to MJ on that one, and that I just seen Jordan do so much to so many. But for this era, for the new era, he's the greatest of this time.
Right, but like I said, for people to say he is the greatest, I ain't got no problem with that. He's just not my GOAT. You see what I'm saying? But the honor is being called a GOAT. You know what I mean? Out of all the people that ever graced this earth, you one of two people or 3 or 5 people that they consider the greatest of all time. I see nothing wrong with any of that. You know what I mean? But it goes down to personal preference. You know what I'm saying? I like Magic more than I like anybody. You know what I mean? But I had to go ahead and just say, like I said, hey, MJ retired my GOAT. You know what I mean? Dominique couldn't get past Bird or Jordan. He's one of my favorites. You know what I mean? So when I started going down those roads, and just also, man, I don't think a lot of people put enough on that 3-peat, on those 2 3-peats, man. That's hard, man. Consistently winning at that level. Winning at that level is tough. Getting to the thing, it's hard too. So I'm not trying to minimize folks, but I think about Jim Kelly. You know what I mean? Better example for me is this: Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I see LeBron as Peyton Manning and Jordan as Brady. Them jokers, Brady was winning them chips. That's how he became the GOAT. Peyton, they said how smart he was. He called plays from the line. He could move things and all that. But he came away with 1 or 2. He came away with 2. It don't make him less great. He's just not as great as Brady because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, to me, the objective is to win.
What question?
I'm gonna have to stop that notion right there because it is a team sport, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So somehow I don't know how this gets equated into your greatness, the championships, right? Because you don't win a championship without the other players. You as a singular person cannot win a championship. We can look at Charles Barkley, we can look at all these greats who dominated but never won because they didn't have a team of players. So yes, Jordan won 3 in a row, but let's look at his team. Like we got Horace Grant, we got Pippen, arguably the best, backup ever. You know what I'm saying? He could have went and led a team himself. So
I got you.
I look at some of the teams.
But who is Kyrie Irving? Who is Anthony Davis? Who is Dwayne Wade? Who is
but
Chris
when he
Bosh?
when he went them
Allen?
7 years, when he went them 7 years, 8 years back to back. You remember the Cleveland teams he had?
Yeah.
They were garbage. I mean, as far as like players. So he had Kyrie, but
that's
only the best handles.
But we're talking. Okay, so why hasn't Kyrie?
You name one Hall of Famer that Mike played with.
Why hasn't? But see, this is where I'm going to show you where the team is at.
I understand the team aspect.
Kyrie, hold on.
But it's more about
Kyrie is a great scorer. Y'all both said that, right? Scorer. But the problem is he's always
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. How you just now I said I'm talking about his handles. I said nobody man scored.
Well, he's a scorer. He's a scorer, and he's a handler. But the problem with him is he can't play as much defense. So as a result, when he's gone to other teams without LeBron, he hasn't been successful. You see what I'm saying?
Because of leadership.
This is the great thing about our sports fan. I'm gonna call a timeout. I'm gonna use the sports format right now to help me. Young people, this is a teachable moment. Sometimes in life, you just have to agree to disagree with folks. Neither one of these dudes is going to change their opinion. No matter what LJ says, he's not going to talk Thomas into what.
Oh no, I ain't even trying to change opinions, but I do want to highlight some principles to your point, though. To me, the Kyrie argument goes back to the lack of leadership. It comes to some things you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know how to lead men or women or whatever, just to kind of make sure I'm politically correct, if you don't know how to lead and get the most out of the people around you, then it doesn't matter.
We reached
I
time.
know
We
we
reached
flag
time.
on the play. It's
We
time to
reached
get about
time, man, because I want to ask y'all one closing question, man. Because once we get into the substance, I know y'all can go back and forth about the players. One closing question for y'all: were LeBron's sons wrong for wearing Jordans at LeBron's basically crowning of being the point leader? Should they have had on LeBron's? Were they wrong for wearing Jordans, or should they be able to wear whatever they want to as young people?
That's the beauty of LeBron saying,
He gonna
"Hey."
give LeBron the credit. That's what I'm talking about.
But he raised
He
them
raised his
right.
sons to think independently. He raised them boys to think like
He
that.
raised them. He raised them to be individuals. They
How
can
come
be what
Savannah
they
can't
want to
get the
do.
credit? How come Savannah didn't get the credit? LeBron was on the road 80% of the year.
How come his wife
Mama
can't get
ain't-
credit?
so y'all be
To
tripping. That's what we saying
both
about
parents. To
it's all
both
about
parents.
them. So you
To
talking about
both
team?
parents.
You ain't
Well,
showing no love for the team.
Tebow coming in hot.
To both parents. They raised them right. They raised them right.
No, you right. Now, let me just stop tripping because like I said, this is the bad state, so I'm gonna be a little anime. And I ain't gonna trip. What it did was allowed them the freedom to choose. You know what I mean? You can honor both. But the one thing I say, just as a parent, no matter how great I am, my kids will never see my greatness for what it is because I will always be dad. At the end of the day. So that's why I say now I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, Michael Jordan just another figure or outside the thing, but that's dad to them. They happy for him and all that stuff, but we like King James and all that. But he still put that belt on their behind. He still put them in punishment. He still, you know what I mean? That's just dad at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And so they're gonna celebrate dad for all that he did, and they can still honor other people. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes for me. Like I think one of them favorite player was Steph Curry at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
That's just dad speaking.
Well, we have concluded that we do not have any conclusion on the fact that LeBron is the greatest of all time, right? So we still want to just reach out and say, hey, man, we appreciate being able to just witness,
sir.
something
King
great.
James, baby.
Salute. And then, again, thank you for tuning in.
Right.
Like, subscribe, share your comments. And at the end of the day, does it work for you?
LeBron has been awesome to witness, man.
Yes, sir. Let me make sure I'm still giving him his flowers, bro. Because I mean, I ain't finna try to minimize nothing he's accomplished in life.
For you, King. For you.
All right. We just
Salute.
have a different opinion. Does it work for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Peace, y'all.
Coming to the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot in history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James. An embrace from his mother, Gloria. His daughters, Yuri, coming in. The boys, Bryce and Bronny. Savannah, his wife.
New Black Magic Jr. album, Riot's Work, coming soon. Featuring bangers like How Deep, Cursed, the Poland Remix, Rolling One, and many more. Also, be sure to check out the album, Sleep Well, and Breaking Cases of Mercy.
Alien technology that took the skull and bone silver first for all of y'all to see. Black magic in the flesh, hacking through the algorithm, killing shit the best.
New Black Magic
Bulls
Jr.
running full court press. Jordan back after getting shit off his chest.
The truth is the hardest shit.
You see, the thing that separates us from every other group of slaves was the fact that
thank y'all for tuning in today and every day. And remember to keep running your 3-yard play.
Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers, they gon' grow. We gon' water season, watch that harvest flow. I've been crunching numbers.
Cause we know heroes are made in the off season.
There should be no reason
and grind the slow is better than crashing out
we
for
get
dough.
that money bound for we don't want it.
Let's say, young brothers, remember,
fulfill the promise.
I ain't never 3 yards every day. They can never
I can't
stop.
read that narrative, so ain't no need of calling us. You ain't never had to tell your kid being black was a sin, cause his skin was reflected through America. Taking care of us was just a handout, right? But it was fair when free labor was just as nice. I can bet you your life, your kids living alright. Cause me and mine had to do
rocking
it
with
die
the
every
3
single
Yard Play
night.
podcast.
I get mine, you get yours, but together, nigga, we gon' get some more, Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers,
So
they
like,
gon' grow.
subscribe, share,
we gon' water
and
season,
let's
watch that
discuss.
harvest flow. I've been
What's up
crunching
with us?
numbers, winter, fall, spring, or summer. There should be no
Thank
reason
you.
that the baby's
Tuning in
never
to
hungry.
3
When
Yard
we get
Play
that money
podcast.
bound for, we don't run it. I only
Folks
pledge
on to
allegiance
it.
to, gon' fulfill the promise.